All right. So for today, we're going to be doing a story called My Wife Came Out This Month, and I feel like I'm not allowed to be mad. Today, I'm joined by my guest, Blue Jay,
Hi, hello.
and we'll go ahead and hop into the story. My wife came out. She saw it fitting with being June and all. Her dad recently passed. He was infamously homophobic, so much so he disowned my wife's brother for being gay. Wow. Mm. Okay, so we already have a bad family here. Um, I'm not sure if they're very religious, but that could play a part. What do you think?
It could. I know sometimes with fathers having sons, they will more likely want their son to grow up to be more in their path of life.
Yeah,
So when it's like, you know, a I guess in that father's head, I guess a botched opportunity for his son to be the son that he kind of always
like a
wanted.
legacy, a failed legacy. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
so I
right.
think that's what that's going
All
on
right.
about, maybe.
All right. Let's continue on. We have been together for 24 years.
Mm.
We started dating at 20, married at 25. We are now 44 and 43. We had a family, 3 children from 16 to 10. Their lives are about to be torn apart thanks to a divorce.
Mm.
As I said, we started dating when I was 19 and she was 20. I gave her my entire youth. While my friends were out partying with other women, experiencing their early 20s, I was in with my girlfriend. While my friends had finally made it out of college and started working and living alone with expendable income, I was married. When my friends were in their late 20s, early 30s, I was with my wife and our baby. All do this, but just typo. Although this was worth it, however. I love my wife and was willing to give up those things to be with her. The sacrifice was worth it. She didn't, though. What I thought was 2 decades of bliss was agony for her, forcing herself to be okay with sex with me. We only made love once or twice every few weeks. I drove myself crazy trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. It's just that she didn't want me. Wow. Hmm.
Mm.
And I find it interesting how he frames the whole his whole 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Very family oriented,
Yeah. Yeah, it
which
is.
isn't a bad thing at all. I mean, if that's his goal.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then again, like I said, like he said, it subtracted from possibly having other opportunities. Um, and if they were both willing to agree to that to make a family, that's fine. But
Right.
clearly, it was one sided the whole time,
Right.
and it was just like a whole facade. Um, but let's continue. Let's see what he says. I'm mad. I'm furious with her and hateful towards her. I get it. She was so far into this lie that it was difficult to find a way out. However, she still lied. She lied to me for nearly a quarter of a century. I built my life with someone who I thought wanted to be with me on a lie. She fed me, excuse me, on a lie she fed me. I gave over half my entire life. I gave her everything and she didn't even want it. Damn. Mm. And now she expects me to understand. She wants me to be supportive and not see her as a villain in this. I can't. What she did is villainous. What she has done is worse than cheating. This is heartbreaking and I can't help but hate her. But I can't. I have to keep a unified, loving front for my kids so they can still view their mother with love and not as the villain she was or had been to me. I just hate this and her. Mm.
Mm.
And this was posted 27 days ago, not too long ago.
Not too long ago.
This is Pride Month, so it's
Oh, it's July now, so Pride Month's over.
Oh yeah, true.
But it was during Pride
yeah,
Month.
during
Yeah.
Pride Month, so I guess she felt the need to go ahead and come out since it's Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting how that whole time, because she was so much scared of the father,
Yeah.
she put on the facade. She would lie to this dude and do this whole lie this whole time, knowing damn well she didn't like it. Do all these things, have kids with the guy. Just keep on building up this lie and not doing anything that she wanted to do for herself. I think I agree with the original poster. We'll call him Op. I agree with Op here because it doesn't make any sense for her to feed into this lie for so long, knowing that you're basically damning your relationship with your whole family essentially. So, what do you think?
Well, I highly agree and understand, his feelings, because he might feel betrayed. He might feel like the person that he thought he knew isn't who that person is anymore. So I can totally understand his surprise and his anger with his surprise. One thing that I will say, though, is that just kind of piggybacking off of mentioning the father, what did it say? The father passed recently or something like that? Her dad recently passed. So what I'm trying to think of it here is his emotions and why she did what she did. It doesn't make it right to her doing what she did about lying and hiding it for over 20 years. But at the same time, I think I see why she did what she did. I think she was scared of her father. I mean, her father just recently passed, so she probably just now felt free because, parents, it's been shown that parents can cause a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times people don't heal from their trauma from their parent until they pass on. And I think that has been a big motive as to why she waited so long to come out, just seeing what was already happened with her brother previously. I think that's part of the reason she wanted to be daddy's perfect little girl. She wanted to have grandchildren have children like how a woman normally should, or probably would have been seen as normal in his eyes. And I think as much as it is a slap in the face to him, a part of me, if she truly is homophobic, a part of me gotta say, kind of feel for her. Because it kind of makes me think about Jay-Z's mom, how she finally came out as homophobic, but after all those years, she pushed out babies. Because it's one thing to look at it as in, like, okay, you knew you were feeling some kind of feelings of homosexuality. You should have said something. I mean, at least to your husband, you should have said something. But then at the same time, at least he was with a woman who was actually a part of his sexuality. So at the same time as he's seeing it as she's with somebody who she never wanted to be, okay, that might be the case. Because at least for those 40 years, or at least the 20 years they've been together together, he's been in a relationship that's fit his sexuality, at least to him.
Right.
But to her, it seems like she also missed out the opportunity of experiencing. It seems like she also lost her youth to try to please her father, as well as probably to please him. So I don't really know.
I get that aspect of it, but the whole time you were playing a facade for your father, you didn't have to include a bystander into it.
That's true.
Which would be her husband.
That's true.
Her husband was going along the lines of, hey, this girl really likes me, we can make a family. And he was going, like you said, he was going crazy, just wondering why, the sex was only like, what, you say, like, once or twice a week, every 2 weeks or something like that.
She most definitely should have confided into her husband, because number one, really, even before they got married, because they started dating at 20, they got married 5 years later. That's plenty of time to say, hey, gotta be honest, I kind of feel some type of emotions towards the opposite sex. How do you feel about this? Because number one, you're marrying Op. You're not marrying your daddy. So, right. I mean, I don't know what her dad was capable. Yeah. I don't know if her dad was abusive. I don't know what she was afraid of.
Right.
But she still should have said at least something, at least to him.
Yeah.
And then let him make a decision if this is a lifestyle that he may or may not want to be a part of. So, I definitely don't remove any responsibility off of her. She should have been responsible and still been open to her husband, because that's your husband. You're marrying him. You should be able to confide in him.
Right.
Right. But at the same time, we got to see what that reasoning was, because there had to be some type of reason.
Yeah, I feel like the reasoning though wouldn't be anything to do with the husband. I feel like a husband, he's lived his life fine, right? He's been good. It's just the whole time she's been pushing this trauma onto him.
Yeah.
By not dealing with it herself.
Yeah.
I feel like she needs to go to a therapist and get some closure, I guess, maybe through just talking to someone to understand her. But the thing is that she's hurt her whole family just because she wants to keep a little lie up and because she was scared. And like I said, I'm not victim blaming here. I'm just seeing that what she did essentially, she was a victim of her father's abuse or trauma or whatever he did to her.
She's like kind of continuing trauma, but in a different way.
She's continuing that trauma onto her family.
Yeah.
By
not being open,
but
and
not being who she was, and
yeah.
basically putting a facade on her family. And we can read some of the comments here.
Okay.
So let's see. You can read this first one.
Let's see. This came out a day later, 26 days ago. It says, my mom came out when I was a toddler. Parentheses, my mom was about 7 or 8. Or excuse me, my sister.
Oh, no.
I know. After 13 years of marriage with my dad. So, let me kind of go back. My mom came out when I was a toddler. I had an older sister. But she came out after 13 years of marriage with, being with the father. That in itself was about 20 years ago. My mom wishes he'd talk with her and be friends with her. But reading your post has helped me understand why my dad is still so angry with my mom.
Right. Like, I mean, why would the dad... You could kind of just feel like the waste of time on the dad's end.
Yeah.
Yes, for her, yeah, but she chose to basically live that life. She chose not to stand up against her father's wishes.
That's true.
And
he didn't choose for that. He thought he was going in with a mutual party, somebody who had the same interests as him, somebody who was more like him, and then something that he was even willing to drop down on one knee for.
And because of that, he has to lie to his kids to act like he's all happy and fine with this shit. But no, that hurts probably worse than a lot of things, because I wouldn't want to do that shit either.
Yeah.
But let's see, what else? What other comments we got? There are support groups for people in your situation. Okay. Let's see. A buddy of mine had a similar story 4 years ago, and a kid later, his wife comes out and wants nothing to do with him. Wow. What? See, that's crazy. He felt betrayed while she won't admit fault. I can't imagine the feeling of putting so much time and love into someone just to find out it was all a lie. She was experimenting with guys, got too deep, and got pregnant.
Oh.
Wow.
That
is rough. It's
rough.
Like, why pull someone into your experiment like that,
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is like
so you knew you were experimenting with a guy, got too deep, got pregnant.
Okay, and the whole pregnant part is I don't know why she wanted to keep a baby.
Exactly.
Especially if she was
just experimenting like a passerby fleeing, nothing too serious.
She easily could have recognized that she could have took the proper steps to not get pregnant. So clearly it's being irresponsible there, but
irresponsibility left other people being hurt.
Yeah, you're hurt.
If you're gonna be irresponsible like that, like
accountability.
I mean, well, not just accountability. I mean, well, of course that's a big factor of it, but and I want to be kind of careful with what I say. But if you know that you're just, because experimenting can kind of be seen as a little bit of selfish, because that's you doing that for you, your pleasure.
It is.
So if you're going to be selfish like that with your actions, make sure that nobody's in the line of your selfishness. Make sure nobody else gets hurt in the line of your selfishness. And it's like...
Or they agree with it.
Or they agree with it. Like, you can be accountable and say, yeah, I'm experimenting, and just flat out saying that. And that's fine. Say that. But if you're going to do that, also... oblige with the natural terms and conditions that would go with you experimenting. Like, okay, nothing long term, like a baby, like a pregnant. I mean, having a whole human, that's a long term commitment to something that's just an experiment that's just not that serious about. So that's beyond me.
Wow, this is gonna be the last little comment we read, but a little subsection. The fact that she won't admit fault, and this is for the sad story with the guy's buddy.
The 4-year-old kid?
Yeah, the 4-year-old kid, the guy's buddy. The fact that she won't admit fault is what's really sad about this. My uncle came out and left his family, which included 5 kids.
Whoa.
Spent the next few years living his life as a gay man and stood while his ex bounced between abusive partners and his kids were abused. Wow. Only 3 of his kids are still with us. Wait, what? Wait, what? Whoa. Wait, what?
Oh, it goes on to explain.
I'm okay. I wonder if that has to do with the abusiveness, or if that. If so, that's terrible.
I mean, it could be well, continue to read on because of what it says.
Let's see. One got into an argument with him, and he said horrible things to her, and she committed suicide. Oh wow, yeah, it had to do with the abusiveness.
You gotta be careful with that word. You know, YouTube.
Oh yeah, I might have to bleep that.
Mm-hmm.
The other basically gave up on life and turned to drink and drugs, made worse by the fact that he had a liver transplant as a child. I refuse to speak to my uncle now, as does most of the family. Wow, that's crazy. And so the reason I just want to bring this story up is because you just kind of see that people can get hurt by these facades people play. You know, you can't just go around and change up everything and expect things to be all right. You know, you gotta, if you're gonna do something and you're gonna include everybody in it, make sure you're not like putting your trauma on other people. Like, make sure you know that other people and yourself included are agreeing to this fully and 100%, and you're committed to this action. Because
absolutely,
if you're gonna make a family out of it,
absolutely,
and you're just gonna be like, oh well, I guess we'll just that'll be it, you know. But that's all I have to say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I pretty much agree with you. Like, if you're gonna be selfish or do something that's just some type of pleasure that's only beneficial towards you, it is just very terrible to involve people who, number one, even asked to be here, like creation of children. You created your children for you to just want to up and leave just due to a sexual realization. It's just irresponsible. It's immature. I don't agree with that choice. It seems that a lot of people tend to do this from time to time, realize that they're of a different sexuality and decide to leave. I think that's BS, if I'm being frank. I don't think that's fair to the people that's involved, and I don't think that's fair to the people that's made for you to just up and leave.
All right, you should at least wait till they're out the house, and then you might do it. You know?
Yeah, at least. But I mean, if you've gone this far, you brought them in, they're almost adults now, or if they're young, like 4 years old, like, you know, you did this. So now you got to stand by the actions that you made. You made this bed, so now you got to lie in it.
Yeah, you make a bed, you got to lie in it. But
absolutely.
That's it for today.
Okay.
And
well, that was fun.
All right.
Nice having me.